Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Whether you're watching this on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, wherever I put this, I just want to welcome you here to Donna FlameBrain. I haven't been here for a while again. I always give the apologies before each video, but this is totally different, and I feel pushed to do this video. It's like I feel totally, I don't know, drawn to be doing something on this topic because I haven't really spoke about certain things, and that's with my nearest and dearest, as well as people out there, in regards to thoughts and feelings. So my position right now, and what the title says. So I'm going to give you quickly a trigger warning that the things I'm going to talk about tonight, whatever you're going to feel is going to be very how can I say it, triggering. That's it. Triggering. I'm saying that because I might be saying things that you guys feel. I might be saying some emotional stuff. I might be saying things that might make you sad within itself. And so I'm just going to put that there now, that if you have recently lost someone, if you're losing someone, you might want to watch this video for maybe a little bit of comfort in what I say, or you might not want to watch it just in case it's going to trigger you to be upset or sad in any type of way. And I don't want to be the reason or cause for that. So let me start by introducing the video. Before I start by introducing the video, I just want to say quickly, I'm Donna FlameBrain. I'm somebody who is in recovery from a brain injury. I've got an ABI, an acquired brain injury. So I'm just going to say that quickly, not to repeat myself too much, because I do talk a lot and say a lot on here when I'm on here, and I have been on here for a long time. There's been many reasons why I've been on here. Is because I haven't been feeling very well within myself, and plus I've been busy doing some exciting things. Some of my previous videos might tell you about that, or some of my other platforms, you might have an idea about that. So that's Instagram, TikTok, all of them. I think I'm listed as Donna FlameBrain, so you can find me on most platforms. But so let me just get into this video, okay? I don't want to be talking for too long because, like I said, it is a kind of bit of a sad topic and something I've been avoiding for a while. So I'm going to start by saying straight up that, this video and this topic is basically about losing somebody and loss. 2020 has been crazy for people to be experiencing the first time ever that they've lost a family member or a friend. And I got to tell you that there's no words that anybody can say to make you feel better about that at all. But for this, I'm going to be answering a Q&A sort of thing. Over the years and over my time of being online, I've sort of talked about mentioned certain things about the fact that I don't have any parents. Things have come to light and people have asked me certain questions. And, again, because of COVID in 2020, how things have been. I've had a lot of people say to me, Don, I had no idea how the hell are you managing or surviving without your parents, because a lot of them have just lost one or both of them at this time. So I've got a whole heap of questions here that I think I've dragged out, some in my mind that I've been asked over time, and some that I've actually been asked over time, literally people messaging me through my videos and the kind of things I've said that people can identify with. So I'm going to basically read the question and answer as honestly as I can, okay? So the first question I'm going to answer is this one. It says, so I'll say some people who you know me and by some strangers on. I've been writing like notes for this, and I can't even understand my notes, and I'm not even going to edit this out because this is just how I am. Some people who knew me and by some strangers online. Now, I really don't know what I meant by that, but let me just say that, for this closer, I should have my glasses on, but I'm still at that stage where I don't really wear my glasses, even though I need to wear my glasses. Oh, it's so bad. But anyway, back to the video. Anybody, again, who knows this channel will know that I kind of go off topic a lot, and even though I haven't got into this yet, I'm already going off topic, but I want you guys to understand or know that that's what can happen, okay? So the first question, which is proper, an obvious question, is, which, to be honest, I'm going to leave that, and you know, it might sound silly. I'm going to leave that question a minute, right? So, let me see. Okay, I like this question. It says, see, already before I even get into these questions, it's kind of hard to talk about. I'm speechless. I don't get speechless often, but I'm just putting things into order of how I can explain certain things. It's not even like hard to explain. I feel every emotion that anybody watching this because of the title, or anybody watching this because me personally feels. So let me just get into it. This question says, what was your mother like? Okay, so my mother was white Welsh, born here in Wales. Grew up in Caerphilly, and she had a very, very big, massive family. My mother was the person who glued, is that the word? Who glued a lot of the family together. Her loss was massive. Her loss was felt hugely because, she was still that sister that they all needed, or that friend that everybody wanted. She was still there. Definitely the mother that we were all lucky to have, me, my brother, my sister, and my cousins. She mothered a lot of people, and there's nobody from my family who can watch this and say that's not true. She did. She, she took on ways and strays, people who was falling out with their family. She'd make friends via friends, and even if, like, I know, don't get me wrong, I love all my friends, but even like with my brother and sister and I, like, even if our friends didn't want to come over, it's like, yeah, she'd be like, yeah, come in. And again, I'm exactly the same. How weird is, I didn't realize that really until I'm thinking about it now. I'm exactly the same. I invite a lot of my children's friends in, and and my children love that, don't get me wrong, but they'll also be like, oh, I wasn't expecting so and so to be here today or whatever, but I'm learning. So yeah, my mother was friendly, she was lovely, she was beautiful, she had the best figure. She was God, this is a question. My favorite song was Mysterious Girl by Peter Andre. She used to be so generous. There's nothing that she wouldn't give you. And I remember that when I was younger, I remember going shopping to town with her. And I know that we were going to town to get her a coat. And she only had enough money to buy herself the coat, nothing for me. And she just said, I'm not coming to town, because I was sort of like a shadow. I followed her everywhere. So I remember going to town. It was in this department store, and it was the most beautiful coat she loved. But by the side of it was this sort of pair of jeans that I actually, I loved them so much that I said to her, Mum, look at these jeans, And I remember her putting her coat back down and saying, oh, you can have them if you want, babes. And I thought, how can somebody be so generous? How we went to town for the coat. We only had enough money for the coat, and she just gave me that money for a stupid pair of jeans. And you know what? She probably really needed a coat. But I only know and think all these things as I'm getting older. Like, even now as I'm talking about it, like, it's, woof, it's the truth. She was so generous. And God, I find something that happens like a lot lately is my daughter, she gets mad at me because I sort of give my things away a lot. Oh my God, I didn't even want to cry watching this video. I feel silly. Again, it's probably, I haven't even gone further than question one. My daughter said to me, why do you give everything of yours away? Like, if, for example, if I fancied myself a really nice bag of sweets that I haven't seen for a while, or just a sweet tooth, like craving something, I'll buy it, and I'll bring it home, and I'll put it, like, in the kitchen or whatever, and one of the boys might say, oh, Mum, what's this? I like this. Can I have it? And straight away I'll be like, oh yeah, babes, you can have it. Enjoy it. Like, nice. My daughter will be like, you keep giving all your things away, things that you really want. And yeah, I do. I do. And I think it goes back to that connection of, like, how my mother, with that coat, I can never believe it. I remember when I went to university, I remember the first thing I did out of my student loan, took her shopping. And I bought them this red cardigan. And anybody who remembers my mother, and you can put a comment in the box down below or whatever you're watching sort of like, you know that you would have seen my mother in that red cardigan. She lived in that red cardigan. She really did. So yeah, to answer the question, my mother was generous. She was lovely, friendly. Yeah, she was lovely. She really was. Okay. And the second question is equally as hard, because the second question is, what was your father like? Same person asked both these questions, and I know that this person who will be watching this knows that that I know that they've just lost, they've lost their father over this pandemic, and they that means they've lost both their parents now, because the mum died quite a while ago. So they asked me these questions really because they've seen me they've seen me all over the place. So what was my father like? Oh my God, Big Bernard. He was amazing. He was a dad that anybody would have wanted. All of you would have wanted. He was absolutely, he was fabulous. Let me just say that. So, okay, I'm gonna finish this video, I promise. Okay. Oh my God, I didn't even think I'd cry. My father, he was amazing. Still is. Both my parents still are. They guide me. You know, one thing I'm lucky to have is my faith and my spirituality, because, wow, do they guide me? They show me when they're around. They really do. They're solid parents, whether on earth or in heaven. They are. Both of them are really good parents. Parents that a lot of people would have wanted. Oh my God, look at the state of me. Okay, excuse me. Whew, right. Yeah, so my father, his name was Bernard. Okay, my mother, her name was Maud. Her real name was Priscilla Maud. And the reason why I called her Maud is because one of her brothers couldn't pronounce her name, Priscilla. So they all called her Maud or Maudie. Oh, God. Yeah, so my father, my mother, both of them amazing. Good parents I had. Don't get me wrong, things along the way make things difficult, but they were those parents, definitely those parents. My father was hardworking. You know, my father, he came here to the UK when he was 13 from Dominica. And I mean Dominica itself, not Dominican Republic. My father's from Dominica. And you can just search that on Google and you'll see all about Dominica's most beautiful little island in the Caribbean. So he came here when he was 13 and he used to tell us loads of stories about how the stuff they tried to teach him in class he already knew from back home in Dominica. God, loads of things. I can't even, so much that I can't even think about saying, like what. But my father, yeah, so he grew up in Bristol. He grew up in Bristol and he joined a music group, a band, and my father was the drummer. My father loved his music. Oh my God, he loved his music. We were just brought up on music. And that kind of goes, when I got into my own sort of thing with Radio Cardiff, that it made sense. My taste and my selection sort of style and musicality when it comes to the old stuff is there thanks to my father. Don't get me wrong, my mother, she loved the music. Like I said, even though her favourite song was Mysterious Girl by Peter Andre, she loved all music. Tammy Wynette, Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston, God, Jackson 5. She didn't really like Michael Jackson, but I mean, that was me. Jackson 5, everything. She loved all her soul, rock and roll. So my mother, she liked the music too. And I think that's how they really vibed, was because obviously she met a musician who lived in Bristol. My mother had family in Bristol at the time, so she was, you know, she found herself in Bristol, seeing people there. So Mr. and Mrs. Phillips were lovely. To answer that question, they were lovely in a nutshell. My brother and my sister, we all learned a lot from her and him. You know, nobody can say. In my opinion, there's probably like creeps out there who might have, but I don't think anybody can say a bad thing about my mother and father. Okay, that took a long time to answer those two questions, so I'm probably going to only answer a few out of these because it seems like it's taken long to even answer them. So let's have a look. How did your parents die and when? Okay, now as this video is probably or mostly about losing people, I should kind of get into that. I'm not going to go too deep. Some things I got to keep personal, but I'm going to just tell you again, in a kind of wrapped up capsule sort of thing of how I can explain. Excuse me for sniffing. How did your parents die and when? Okay, so my mother passed away first. She died when she was 52 years old, and that was in 2008. She died of a well, to be honest, we had to wait a long time to find out how she died because it was sort of like a sudden death. She was in hospital, but they didn't know what was wrong with her. Even up until the point where she passed away, they didn't know what was wrong with her. She was still in the assessment unit. They were still trying to work out what was wrong with her. She was having stomach pain, then chest pain, and back pain, lower back pain. She was having all these different pains that they were like, oh, you're confusing us now, Mrs. Phillips. You're saying a lot of things and we can't really put them all into one puzzle and say that this is what's wrong. Excuse me. So they were confused. We were all confused because, that was kind of like the first time we really seen her go into hospital and be unwell. And she really was unwell. So she went into hospital on the Wednesday, and because she was having stomach pains and she was vomiting. And she passed away on the Friday of that same week. And we found out later on that she passed away because she had a blocked bowel caused by scar tissue that developed over time from when she had an hysterectomy in the 90s. All the times that she was having problems, and she didn't go to the doctors, it was all based on that. And she didn't go to the doctors for a lot of things, and she'd be in a lot of pain a lot of the time, or tired, or sick. But she didn't think there was anything particularly wrong. They were giving her B12 injections because she was losing weight, but we didn't realize this because she had a bowel problem. So worst thing came to worst when she aspirated, is the word. That's how they explained it. She aspirated her own vomit into her lungs, and that caused poison, ammonia. And then, obviously, when you have that sort of poison in your body, it causes havoc with all your organs and stuff. So she died. And, yeah, she died. That was in 2008. I probably mentioned, but my mum was 52 at the time. And do you know what? When I see people who might say they're like, oh, I'm 52, I'm thinking, bloody hell, you're so fit and so young. And she was. She still was. Yeah, she was very fit. Going to the shops, and the worst thing, oh my God, the worst thing is that she passed away at Christmas time. So 2008 Christmas was awful. Oh my God. We still made Christmas dinner. We did, and some family came around, but oh God. Whew. So I was in uni when my mum passed away. And I got a phone call whilst I was in uni. And that was off Rowena, my sister. And she called me, and I read it. I just felt weird when my phone started ringing, like, oh shit. So I knew something was wrong. So I ignored it the first time. I ignored it. I didn't answer it. I felt something was wrong. And so she phoned straight back. And that was it. I answered it. And she said straight away, I said, hello? She said, Dawn, Mommy's gone. Mommy's gone. And I remember she said, you need to come home. Bernard's on his way. My brother's on his way from work. My brother was driving the bus, his Cardiff bus. So one of my friends in uni, like I was doing my postgrad in broadcast at the time, Cardiff Uni, and so one of the girls there, or one of the girls, I'm sure it was one of the girls, she just grabbed me and got her car, picked me up and took me home. And I remember the first thing I saw was a big hole in the wall of the hall where my mother and father lived in these apartment blocks down here in Cardiff Bay. So I remember the hole in the wall of the stairwell, thinking, oh shit, And I went inside, and there was Rowena and Bernard and my father, and they were just, wow, sat there, speechless, like, what do you say? What do you say? Because my mother was the way I told you she was very hands-on with us and my children, and oh God, we couldn't believe it. And the one thing we didn't know is how or why at the time. We didn't know how did she die. Like, bloody hell. My sister had seen her the day before. She was the night before, the very night before, like late as well. She went there to bring us some blankets. When I phoned early on the Friday morning, they told me she's fine. And I was probably like 9:45 in the morning before I went to uni. And by 2 o'clock I had that phone call. So yeah, it just went like that. It just went like that. So with that, then we went to the hospital. We had to go and obviously identify the body and try and find out what's happened. And the biggest thing I remember is nobody knew what happened, because she was fine. Even the people in the ward said, my God, this was weird, because she was fine. She was talking, talking about her grandchildren, talking about her children. She was okay. So when she passed away, it was like, whoa. But they didn't know that she had, inhaled her vomit or whatever they call it, whatever I said it was. They didn't know until the post-mortem. But at the time, that was what was going on. During an episode of her vomiting, she aspirated it. So apparently it takes like 12 hours from when it starts to finish. So even when she was having scans and stuff, nobody knew. So with my father, Mr. Phillips, my father was suffering with or living with kidney failure and diabetes, right, for a long, long time. And he was having dialysis 3 days a week in the University Hospital of Wales. And he did it for like 15 years. 15 years on dialysis. My father smashed it. He was really strong. He had no option of a kidney transplant because it was his kidneys that was, or kidney, I should say. My father was actually born with one kidney, which he found out during being unwell. So that was failing. Diabetes does that to you. So basically, I was working as a supporting artist down the TV show Casualty, BBC Casualty. I was a background nurse. I was a nurse in the background wearing the blues. So I'm down there quite often, and so afterwards I'd come home and check on my dad and blah blah blah. But this time, I was there, and I think just after lunch, it would have been not even just after lunch, like about a couple of hours after lunch, I had somebody come and got me to say my brother-in-law is out the front coming to pick me up, and I said, why, what's wrong? They said, just come to reception, you'll see him and he'll explain. I remember walking just a little bit down the corridor that we have to leave the studio, and I remember saying to that person, my father's dead. I said, no, my father's dead. And it's funny because my father was well, all kidney failure and diabetes aside, he was well, he was living with it, so I remember saying, my father's died. When I got to reception, then my brother-in-law was there with the car, and he said, Donna, it's your father, he's come home from the hospital, he's in the house, and he's passed away. Rowena's come home from town, and Rowena, my sister, my elder sister, she's come from town and she's found him there in his bedroom in his chair, looking so peaceful, but she knew he had gone. She could just sense he had gone. Oh, oh God, Mr. Phillips. Yeah, so my father, sorry. Do you know what? When we came, he took me home. My brother-in-law took me home, Oscar. And we got to the flat. And he said my father was still in there. So I went to see him and he looked so, oh my God, guys. I promise you, he looked so healthy and handsome. And I knew then that he wanted to go. He missed my mum. You know, this was 2014 and my mum went in 2008. He missed her. He really did. And he wanted to be with her. So, it's fine. Oh God, it was good to see his face. He was so peaceful and rested. Unreal. My father looked young. Because if anybody who's seen my father, yeah, you know, my father, like, you know, they remember his laugh and how funny he was and stuff, always cracking jokes. I'd always tell him stories, and I used to set up my friends. But oh, Dad, tell so-and-so about when you went to, you know, Germany with the band. They'd be there forever. The stories were long. Oh my God, the stories were long stories. Ay. Whew. See, the thing is, like, a lot of people have just had Mother's Day, and it'd be the first Mother's Day without their mother because of COVID. And a lot of people got Father's Day to come, and that would be your first Father's Day since COVID, I mean, without them. And I've done this for a while, and let me just tell you that I wish I could tell you that it gets easier. My mum's been gone, you know, I can't even do the maths, but yeah, it's 2008 she died, and it's 2021 now, so work that out. She's been gone that long, and every Mother's Day is shitty because I know it's lovely, don't get me wrong, because I've got my own children, so they make a fuss of me, and my sister gets anti-cards and stuff, because, you know, since my mother passed away, she's, you know, both my siblings have been rocks, but my sister's been helping me with the kids, and God knew I needed help with the kids. Not that my kids were any type of way, it was me. You know, I had so many goals and ambitions and fast and furious and over the place. I was just like, oh my God, you know, yeah, you know, I need her. I need them. I need both of them, Bernard and Rowena. But that's not the point. That's not the question. But yeah, it was a big void to fill, big hole to fill. Gosh, I just remember when I picked up the kids from school when my mum passed away. I remember waited in the office and waiting for the children to come, Lucy and Tabani. Because picking up early, obviously. I remember looking at the kids in the uniform, kids playing, and I remember thinking, shit, I've got to really do this all now. Yeah, just shit. She was that type of grandmother. Oh my God, amazing. So it's those little things that you take for granted in life, things that they do for you. So when those are asking me, like, how is it losing your mum or losing your dad or losing both of them? Sort of like being a middle-aged orphan, you know? I mean, by the age of 33, I'd lost both of them. They're both gone, 33 years old. And my friends have passed 33 years old, and they've got their mum and they've got their dad. And I might hear some of them saying, oh, my mum is so terrible. My mum is awful. My mum is like this. Or my dad is crap. Or I'm thinking, oh, my God. If only you knew. I mean, I think any loss of parents, you're going to feel it. It's like losing an arm or a leg, honestly. And I never felt, I mean, I'm not an amputee. I've never had a leg cut off, but I swear it must feel the same. It really must feel the same. It's like you lose a part of you, a massive part of you needs. So it is like losing a leg. But really, it's like losing your heart, you know, because, oh my God, your heart breaks. I'm so sorry. This is, I mean, I didn't sort of plan out to make everything positive, but I'm being honest. And I wish being honest wasn't so hurtful or sad. But yeah, you definitely miss the things that you didn't think that was a thing. You miss all of that. You miss, obviously, Christmases and birthdays and all of Mother's Day and Father's Day and blah, blah, but you miss all the in-betweens as well. You do. Needing them when you're skint and you got to pay your catalogue or whatever, or you need some petrol for the car, or you want to just say, Mom or Dad, have you? And you know you can ask them unconditionally without any judgment. But I could, anyway. I miss them stupid things and them selfish things, you know, being able to call upon them for help. Well, right now, I pray to them for help. Before I could just walk down the street and just get whatever I wanted. And they do whatever I want. So yeah, you will miss, you are missing the things that you took for granted. And I think that's what happens when you lose a parent. You feel guilty. You think you could have done more to help them, you know. You think I could have done more to help myself. I think about all the dishes I didn't wash. I think about all the meals I didn't make. Oh, God. I did make meals for my dad, don't get me wrong, but only when he was disabled. Not when he was healthy. Oh my God, guys, I'm not going to lie. I got all these questions to go through and I can't even get through. I'm still on this third question. I'm probably going to keep this without deleting it. I'm going to add it to a video that sort of answers the next few questions, and hopefully putting this all together, I won't be like this. So I'll probably have different clothes on. But there's going to be a part 2 where I answer more questions. I feel like a dick right now. But so far I got as far as, you know, what was your mother like? What was your father like? And how did your parents die and when? So yeah, my mother had some sort of sudden death caused by a blocked bowel. And my father died, they said his heart stopped. Lots of potassium, and potassium attacks the muscles, and your heart is one of the biggest muscles, right? So my father's heart stopped. So he didn't have a heart attack. He didn't have, you know, like a sort of kidney failure issue or anything. His heart stopped. He went away peaceful. You could tell his face was beautiful. And my mum too. These are things that you won't understand why I'm saying it until it happens. And it's sad that you have to be grateful that your parent looks peaceful, you know, once they've passed, and the last thing that they've done is smiled. And you know that smile is for you. You do know that smile is for you. So I've answered 3 questions, and I'm going to answer the rest when I can. Hopefully this week I'll address. I got some good questions here, and I didn't mean to be so sad. Oh my God, I thought that, you know, I was going to talk about being a middle-aged orphan, how it's like a different club, that people don't realize that there's middle-aged orphans, and I was going to answer your questions, but looking at them now, I mean, 3 questions has taken me over almost 35 minutes. I'm not going to answer any more in a minute. But I got lots to answer, which will be helpful. And I'm going to answer them honestly and truthfully. And I got questions like, how did you know how to plan a funeral? What's the first thing I thought when I found out? What's it like to be a middle-aged orphan? That is a question. I think I might have answered it. Not within these 3 questions, but I think, yeah, within these 3 questions, probably, you know, you can get a gist of how it feels, to be honest. What's it like not having parents? What do you miss? I'm going to answer all of these. I'm going to answer all of these for you properly. Okay, so, or as I can. Even if it takes me answering 3 more questions over the next 35 minutes, I'll do that for you. But tonight I'm going to have to stop there. And I hope you watch this to know that I'm okay. I'm happy, I'm always smiling, and these are just things that I don't tend to talk about too much. I mean, I talk until the sun goes down, don't get me wrong, and if anybody asks me what it was like in person, then yeah, I talk about it, but it hasn't been a while. And, you know, as we deal with losses, in more losses than we've ever known right now in the pandemic, you know, we don't know who's next to pass away through COVID or any other problems that go along with this, stress, heart problems, anything that people die of. You know, we're dealing with all of this right now. But yes, I've got lots of questions to answer, and I will. My next video will be a part 2, and I hope you catch that as well. So, lots of questions to answer. Do I believe I'll see them again? Do you get sad when you see or hear people with or about their parents? How would things be different if they were alive? Oh my God. I can answer that now. Things would be much easier. Oh my God, guys. If you've got a mother or a dad out there that you can make a little bit of amends with, you can bury the argument and give forgiveness or tolerance or whatever, please give it a go. You know, you don't know what it's like. And there's that song, I mean, I'll tell you to listen to the Janet Jackson version. You don't know what it's like. You know, you don't know what you got until it's gone. You don't know what you got until it's gone, Janet Jackson. Loads of other songs as well. I might put some music to my next video when I talk about this. Maybe some music that my mother and father liked and things. But the point is, I know I need to answer these questions. This is sort of like a form of therapy for me. Maybe for you as well. But I'm just going to be honest. You know, like, I haven't lost my parents to COVID. I do not know what that feels like, but I have lost both my parents, and I know what that feels like. So I'm going to end this video here. If you've managed to watch this to the end without getting tearful, then thank you. Thank you. If you managed to get to the end at all, thank you. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to come back with a part 2. There's probably going to be part 2, 3, 4, and 5 to this, because the same thing is probably going to happen again. So I'll catch you soon, and thanks for watching.